Greetings and salutations, this is Imperator Vespasian and his trusty sidekick.
Hello.
Today we're having a look at our first unit of Zulu Warriors. This is a half unit, which I've painted up so far. It's all I managed to get done, but at least it's done. These guys are from the Zulu War box set, the Zulu Army box set, but they're just standard Zulus. I decided to do something a little bit different with these. As you know, mostly we base our 28mm stuff for black powder on individual bases like that. However, with the Zulus, given that we're going to have so many Zulu infantry running around the battlefield, we decided to put some of the unit, the majority of the unit, on square bases with 3 figures to a base because they're sort of open order, and other figures to be based on individual bases like these. So you have these guys as sort of skirmishers and then the main body of troops. It just made more sense because we have learnt from our Alamo game that having huge amounts of figures, it takes a long time to move them around.
Very tedious.
Yeah, so we figured just for the Zulus we would have a go at basing them like this, and I think it should work okay.
Yeah.
It just makes it easier to move the figures around, and Zulus don't really have much in the way of formation usually. They can make a shield wall if they want, but it'd be a waste of time. Normally they fought slightly open order because that makes you a harder target to hit.
Because back then you couldn't really aim with a musket.
You could aim pretty well, but it's like, will your ball actually hit what you're firing at? And
that's what I mean.
yeah, but it made you a harder target to hit, and the Zulus would use any cover that they possibly could, sort of jumping in and out of cover, so they would be quite dispersed as a unit. So it made sense to do it this way. You'll see what it looks like when we get our first Zulu games going. This is the standard Zulu Warrior card. The Zulu Warriors in black powder, they have one standard card, one standard unit type. Now, some Zulus are better trained, some Zulus are worse trained. I don't really want to tie the figures to any particular battle or any particular part. Yeah, so I'm trying to keep them generic. Although the regiments I'm doing are actual regiments, but I'm trying to be a little bit more sort of generic with them when it comes to gaming. You have some units that are particularly well trained. They usually they can get a special skill added on, and the ones who aren't very well trained get different skills. So this is the standard Zulu unit. Although there were elements of the Zulu Army that were very professional, most of it was about average, and for the period, even the best trained Zulu troops, it's only really sort of taking morale checks that were making a difference. And also, given that the Zulus, we know that the Zulus at Izandwana were actually stoned out of the tree because they were eating magic mushrooms. Pretty much they were all sort of the same types of troop, the same morale value.
Yeah.
Because they don't know fear, because they're basically drugged. Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah, they took magic mushrooms.
Oh man.
Yeah, they were all stoned out of the tree. Zulus who talked about the war, the battle, when questioned, said that the British Army were guerrillas in uniforms. They saw the British Army as guerrillas because British Army generally had large beards because when you're on campaign it's hard to shave, and it was a period of beards, so you've got this guy in a uniform with a big beard, and because they were on drugs they look like guerrillas.
Oh god.
And just one of the things. The Zulus are armed with muskets or rifles. Kechueo bought almost enough rifles to equip the entire Zulu Army with weapons. And although some of them did train with them, they didn't drill like a European army. So they tended to use them for hunting, but there wouldn't be many people who did that because mostly they ate cows. They didn't really go out hunting food and stuff particularly. They had a stable enough civilization, so they didn't need to hunt and gather.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, unlike the American Indians who had to hunt to eat, the Zulus didn't, because they had crops, they had grain stalls, they had cattle which they ate, and they lived in one place. So people who live in one place tend to have a permanent food supply.
Yeah,
so,
because after a while you start to make your own land.
Yeah. So they didn't have to worry particularly about food, so they didn't hunt. And so you didn't have a lot of warriors like with the American Indians. All the warriors were brilliant shots with a rifle because that was their livelihood. They needed to be good at shooting with a rifle. So up against the US Army, most of the Indians were actually better trained in rifle combat.
Still lost though.
Oh, they lost due to weight of numbers. They used to fight by killing the horses. If you kill the enemy's horse, the enemy can't go anywhere. And then you can kill them. You can get them in one place and kill them. That's how Custer lost. The Indians shot his horses. So, cavalry are useless without a horse. Yeah, so as I said, there's lots of different types, and when we're playing the game, we're going to give different skills to different units, so make them tough fighters and stuff like that. But we'll go more into that detail when we actually do battles. We'll explain how that works. The normal infantry, so they move 12 inches as per usual. Hand-to-hand combat of 6, so they're actually average, not particularly brilliant. Shooting of 1 because a few troops do actually have a rifle, or they can fire. Morale 4+, which makes them pretty okay. Best morale you can get. Stamina 3, which makes them pretty average.
Why cost the high?
How do you mean?
You're on drugs, so morale is pretty low, isn't it? So, well, pretty high.
Zulus were defending their homeland, and if you're defending your homeland, as in the next town on is your town where you came from, that makes you a better soldier because you're actually fighting for something. So it does make you quite, you
Is that why they make British Army in back in the day used to always make things to defend your motherland and stuff like that? No, Russia, defend your motherland and that.
Every country did it. Yeah, you're fighting for the country.
And try and boost the morale of your soldiers.
Except nowadays, you're not allowed to fight for your country nowadays because if you fight for your own country, you're racist.
No, you're not.
You are.
No, you're not.
Oh, the British Army's, they don't get told these things anymore. You're not fighting for the Queen anymore.
You are?
No.
Queen's higher than the government.
No, but...
The Queen can sack the Prime Minister.
Yeah, this is the real world. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people in positions of authority who don't believe in the nation state.
Let's not talk about that.
No, it's a long, complicated thing. These are the Zulu Warriors. This particular regiment has overall white shields with sort of, I'll just put him here, with black specks either side and black threading. We have quite a few different shield designs which you'll get to see as we play. I'm not going to do a video on each regiment because there's not really much point. I mean, it might look good, but I don't really see the point in doing that, and I don't want to waste your time, really. So that's it. Any questions?
Oh yeah, does this type of warband, do they have ones who are married and stuff like that, and the elderly in there?
No, it's a regiment. It's not a regiment. It's part of it. It's a unit of a regiment. They were all generally brought from one area, so all these would come from one village, and they would be put into a regiment, and they would serve for the army, and mainly be used to gather crops and carry wheat and stuff when the country wasn't at war. But you could use them as combat troops if you needed them. These particular Zulus are unmarried Zulus. So most of the army, Zulu Army, would be made up of unmarried Zulus. Because when you get married, you sort of become a dad's army type thing, like reserves. And so you have married Zulus, are the ones who've settled down and got married. The regiments tended to get married en masse. So all the soldiers from one regiment would all be married at the same time to girls from another tribe, another town. That's basically how it works. So you serve the army until you've completed your terms of service, and then you get married.
Yeah.
And if you're a really rubbish unit and you lose lots of battles, you don't get to get married. So that's another incentive to fight well. Although by this time in history, the Zulus weren't overly warlike. They hadn't really fought a big major campaign in decades. But there were troops who had actually seen combat. But the vast majority of the Zulu army would never have actually seen combat. Because there wasn't that much going on. You had Natal to the south, and you had the Zulus on the border who had fought against the Boers, but most of those were skirmishers. They weren't full-on battles with regiments marching into battle.
Or running.
Running into battle, yeah. To the north, there was quite a few problems with, I think it was the Swallows in the north, but that was a completely separate set of Zulus who were fighting up there, and most of that was skirmishing again. It wasn't full-on warfare. So the Zulus hadn't faced an army, an actual organised army that was invading their land, until the Zulu War. When they had a problem, the British were invading them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, we attacked in 3 separate places.
No, we did. Rocks Drift.
No, Rockstrift was the crossing point for the centre column. There was one in the north, and one in the south, and one southeast. Never eat shredded wheat. So that's the southeast, one in the centre, and one in the northwest, where the columns were coming from. The one in the northwest had a really bad Zulu war. The Zulus really did kill a lot of the soldiers up there. But the commander they were facing understood guerrilla warfare far better than most of them. Yeah. Any more questions?
No.
Right, okay. So that's the Zulu regiment, and that's what we've done so far. Hope you like the video. Over to you to do the outro.
Me?
Yeah. You always do the outro.
So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and comment down below what you think of the Zulu warband.
There we go. That's it.
Same for me.
And everything from him. Goodbye.